Hello again. Do you remember me? It seems like people forget me as soon as I not recording any episode because today you have it not been anyone that have listened or download anything on this podcast. I don't know. On this platform, I don't know how it looked like though in those other platforms I have this podcast on. But this is SoundCloud is my main platform. So I miss you. I miss that to have someone that listen to me, and I say if there is no one that want to listen at me anymore, then it's time for me to stop recording. But yesterday there was someone that downloaded 121 episodes of my podcast. So yesterday was a good day. That is good when it's so many download. I am not a famous person. I am not a singer or anything media famous or what is called Facebook, like that star, or Instagram star, or Twitter star. I am not famous at all, and that I want it to be in one way, but of course I need to be famous for the words to be spread. But I'm okay as it is just now, and it is not on me to spread the message from the spirits. It's not me that is the teacher of the world to the world. It's you that listen, that is the one that should act on what I'm talking about and spread it. There is some few that do it, and I'm thankful that you share some episodes sometimes, so there it can happen that the people find my podcast. What happened? I didn't go away that night when it was full moon. But what happened? It happened something, and that was that I got pain in my legs, and most in my right knee, that I broke for 3 years ago. But now it's like inflammation in the knee and under the knee, and it's going up to my hip, and it doesn't help with aspirin, but I don't want to take any stronger than aspirins. The thing I'm going to drink aspirin just now. It's aspirin with coffee in it, and it is the coffee and the aspirin make my body to circulate more. Most of the time I take aspirin together with coffee in the morning only for to kick the start of the body, so it's flowing. The blood is flowing around in my body. But as I have inflammation in my leg and it's a little swollen my leg, then I need to take aspirin, even if it doesn't. It helps better to take aspirin with the coffee in it than to only take ordinary aspirin and take it. It doesn't help almost nothing to take 2 aspirins for me. So this is the best way if I should not take any harder drugs, but this is that I can buy in the store pharmacy on my own. That's not some heavy drugs. So that was happen when it was full moon and after. And in my way to see it as a positive person, I hope it is a healing, that the healing can feel that you get pain first before it's healed you. So there is many things in the body that have to come together, and that can be very painful. So I hope this is what was going on in that night was a healing, and I was kind of lifted up in some way. I don't know. But I have this kind of brain. God have given me that brain that they try to make me forget what have going on. But my brain is not like a normal person. I remember. Not everything, but I remember parts of what's going on. So in some way they took me up, and that's why I saw this in the window, that I was in the cloud, and my home was surrounded by clouds, white clouds, and then I saw like our planet Earth was way down from the window. I saw it from up above and looked down on our planet. So we were going up. But that's the only one thing I knew. And I knew it like it was twice I did it, but maybe it was that we were going down, first up and then down. And I hope they did some healing on me. That's why I have that pain now. We will see. Time will tell. And I want to tell you this, that you should never ask why God is doing what He's doing, because many times you know it later on why God did this in your life. And if it's like a negative thing that happen in your life, it's what I have told you about, that is like God wants you to move. And I hear someone saying when I say this, someone is a woman that's saying that can't be in my life because I am here, and she is paralyzed and laying in the bed and listen, and how can she go forward? The forward is to go forward is your mindset. It's not about your body, it's about your spirit, knowledge, that you lay in there and listen at my podcast, and you come to understand. Maybe it's understand what have going on in your life, so you can clean it up from where you are laying now, and can't do so much about it. What you can do about it is in your mindset, to that we have talking about it, a spirit have coming and talking about why it's so important to forgive. And some of you have heard that episode when if it was an angel, I don't really remember what kind of spirit it was that come and talk, and I think it was a she. I think it was an angel that say that why it's so important to forgive, and that is what you can do even if you can't move your body. That is nothing about you to move your body. It's about your mindset. And I can't repeat what she was saying, but when she say about how important it was to forgive people, then it was like a knowledge, a door open for me, and I think it opened door for many people that listened to that episode. So we should try to not ask why God did this. We don't know His plan for us, and I have talking about this, that sometimes a loved one is going away from you in your life. A child is going sick and die, and I have talked about that in one episode, only about that. So I can't repeat what have been said in all the episodes. You need to listen at it or download it and really listen, where you can sit on your own and relaxed and take it in. It's someone here, it's a spirit coming. It's a man that is coming, and he make me understand this about podcast is to listen. podcast is not to watch. Podcast is not to watch on television, for example. There is some people that make videos when they recording their podcasts, but most podcast is that you listen, and the Spirit make me understand this time of listen. It's time for you. He is saying this to me, to tell you that it is time for you to listen. It seems like it's a black man, and you know how they sound when they are tell you something that you need to do. This kind of voice do he have. It is time for you to listen, he say. It's not time for you to do 100 of things in the same time. It's a time for you to stop what you are doing. Stop to run with the world. It's time for you to listen, he say. That was very interesting that he's coming through and say this, that you are so occupied of doing what the world wants you to do, and what you want to be seen. You want to be seen in many places, and your TikTok things for to be famous and seen, and you run away from the the most important in life is to listen and to come to know God and his kingdom, his heavenly kingdom, what's going on in heaven, and how they look at this planet, what they are seeing, and what they want us to know, what they want you to do for them, and to make heaven come to earth. They are waiting. I can't say that waiting on me, because I act. I try my best to help them, to make them come down here on earth and make this planet be the same as heaven. But there is so many people we need to get help from. It's not about you, what you want from heaven, what you want heaven to do. It's about what you can do for heaven. It's not about you, it's about heaven. And you knock on the door. If you knock on the door, that means a knock on the door means that you act. A knock on the door is not literary knocking. The knocking on the door is that you do something for heaven to come, and in the same way is it. If you love Jesus, then is it also that you open door for Jesus to come into your life, and in that way also come to know God, because Jesus, he was walking around here on it's Jesus here. I see him. That he's have been a little frustrated that I don't talk about it. That he was here on earth, and it's not that God was walking around here on earth. What the Bible is really tell you is that when Jesus was walking around here on earth, he had connection with heaven. He had connection with all the spirits in heaven. He was connected to God. It was not God himself that was walking. I hear you say, thank you, Lord, thank you, Lord. I see a black woman that saying this when I talking, that Jesus, he had God with him because he was talking about God and God's kingdom. He was not talking about himself. He didn't walk around and say, hey, here I am God, like that. He was walking around, not as a God, but he heard from God because he listened. This is the key word for this episode, to listen, not to read, not to watch on television a pastor or preacher that is talking, not those TV preachers. You should listen, and you listen not only on this podcast, but you need to listen for God to talk to you. And it's the same for you as for me. When the spirits start to come, you feel the shivering all over your body. And when you feel that, it's time for you to stop what you are doing and focus on this shivering way the body acting, because it receives a spirit. And you can protect you in that way, that you say to the spirit you feel is in the air, that it, like this, but you should not repeat me, but in this way, say to the spirit that only the spirit that is here, answer me now, because this is really true what to say. If you are from God, if you have been approved from God to come to me and talk to me, then are you welcome. But my home is your body. My home, no, I did forget. I hope I get it. But my home, my door is closed if you are not from God. I don't talk to you. I give you my hand. Stop. Because in my home, that's your body. In my home, is it me that have the control. And And every spirit, whatever they're coming from, because if you are a negative spirit, you come from the beginning from God. So you should, even if you have changed to be together with a fallen angel, is it still a respect of a person? Is that what you come together, you come from God, and from the beginning you knew the respect of a person, and I claim that you will remember that respect. This is my home. I am in control over it. So you can go away if you are not approved from God to come here. You claim your space. You claim your space. And if it's from God, the Spirit know why you are talking like that. And as it coming from God, it know that it can go through your door and talk to you. You should welcome those that have pass through God. First, they have to go. God have to send them. They can't come here by themselves. So everyone that have coming through my portal here, it have been approved of God to come down, or else they can't come down. The spirits of Lucifer, they force themselves into our space here. They force it, and they don't go through God, of course not. So they force, and that force, you can stop it by claiming that you belong to God, and you don't listen to any spirit that have not been approved from God to talk to you. You claim your space. That's it. It's I was listen again on this hypnosis I did 2018, because there is very much to understand there, and it's this that it needs to be listened at many times. It's like some of these episodes that is here in my podcast, that you need to listen more than one time, especially when the angels is coming and talking, because they have a special way to talk, and that it can be that they say one thing, but it can means more than one thing they are saying. It's they saying, like God is saying that the angels is talking for a long time to us, but God doesn't talk a long time. He is very short when he's talking. But in what he is talking, when God is talking, even if it's very short, it can be 2-3 words he's saying. But in those 2-3 words, can it be so much, too much to understand, that he's speaking to you more than one way that to understand. He speak to you to like a double sword to you, that you need to go back and listen to it again. I mean, listen to remember to what God was saying to you. And I am so thankful that I knew when I come to Dan, the hypnosis man, that I told him to recording what I was saying in the hypnosis. It's sad that one of the hypnosis did I forget to remind him to recording, and when I talking in the hypnosis, it was like my brain was that like Dan only listen at me. It was not what I wanted to be, but it was like that for me in the spirit way, that Dan should know what I was talking about the last time I was to him, and it was maybe 14 days before I come back again, and he should know. And I was talking like that many times. When I listen at the recording in hypnosis, I was talking like, you remember last time I was in hypnosis like that. And of course he didn't remember, and I don't think he listened at the recordings before I come to him again. So today I listen on in 2 episodes, 2 hypnosis, and it was this about when I met God, when I saw God. I was up in heaven, so that's why I could see God. But when God is coming here to my home and talking, I don't see a body. I don't see him. I only hear his voice, and I remember his voice from the year 2000 when he come the first time and talked to me. I know also, I remember his voice because he was telling me to go and heal a girl in the hospital when I was 16 years old. And I remember his voice. It was not this mild, smooth voice that the devil had. It's a really commanding voice God had. Even it's not angry, it's loving, but it's commanding, loving. So I wanted to see something, not see, listen to what I say, because it was this that from the throne, from God's throne, it was a red carpet, and I was wondering if it was blood or if it was the flowing come from me up to God, or God was sending it down to me. And I wondering what I say about what I saw in the throne room of God. in heaven. So he was so big, God, in his body. He was not a normal body, or not a normal man's body. He was, like I say, I didn't know what to say, but I knew I had to say something to Dan how big God was, and I say that God was like 10 men together, so big. But then I thinking today that I saw God on his throne, very far up in the air. So he was bigger than 10 men together, but that's what I say. And then it was stairs up to the throne of gold, and I say that to God that I couldn't come up to him because he was sitting so far up in the air. So I was on the floor on before the first step, standing there, and I saw he had this attribute as a king, and he had a dark blue on the side of the throne. He had this royal throne with gold and red, but that on the side was it dark blue, and even if he was very big and it was high up to him, to God, I was not scared because it was full of love in the air, and it was a spheric room. It was not like a square that we built our house. God's throne room was not square. It was a spheric area. And then those higher priests that I was thinking today when I listened, and that those higher priests that come and took me in, I just saw Jesus on the left side when I come into the garden, when I started to come into heaven. And on the right side was it a big cloud, a white cloud. And it was, I listened today that it was very, very white, so it hurt my eyes, so I have hard to look at the cloud. But Dan asked me what I saw in the cloud, and I tried to see it, and then suddenly I saw there was 6 higher priests with white beard and white hair and white clothes, and they took me into the cloud. And when I walk into the cloud, it was like a cave, a tunnel to go through, go in there. And the man, they were behind me, and they like push me in some kind of way that is not like here on earth, but they make me go forward. I didn't know where to go because it was only dark. It was not black in the cave, it was brown, dark brown. Is this oak tree color and dark oak tree color. And then suddenly I come into this spheric room where God was. And as I was in heaven, I could see God. And those higher priests, that make, it's a very special this, that they bow down, they put themselves on their knee, and then they bow down so their head was on the floor, hiding their face for God. So much more was it between God and them. So it's not like they sitting in the, like literary we say, they are sitting in the same table and discuss things. It's not that way. It was their master, and they did what God told them to do. It's not what they did, whatever they wanted to do. God told them what to do. That is, I understood today when I listened. And then God, I asked Dan. That is also strange, that when I was standing before God, I was so very humble, because I asked Dan if I could say this, what God told me. I say because it was so big, that what God was telling me. And Dan say, of course you should say what God is saying to you. And God was saying that I was His chosen one. And then when He say this, in the same time that He say, you are the chosen one, you are mine, not other in heavens. I was God's chosen one. In the same time, he pointed out me with a golden scepter, a golden staff that royals have like that. A very heavy gold scepter staff was it that he, and then he knocked with that scepter on my shoulder, on each shoulder. When the Queen Elizabeth of England, she do that on those that be nobles, that she make them to be sir or lady or what they call them. And that's the same God did on me. And when after that he say that, that's when the red carpet come down from the throne to me. I listen to what I say today in the hypnosis, and I say that the red carpet come down to me from God's throne. So that's and it was a red carpet, like a special guest, VIP guest is. They walk on red carpets like that, and then it's also I'm going to drink a little of my aspirin. And then it is very hard to understand but maybe when I listen another time I maybe understand it, because then when he did this with a scepter, the stuff, the golden stuff, when he did that, I go in half. My body was split in two parts, and then in the same time I say that I was a girl when I come into God's throne room, and that is also a key of to understand, because I was a girl, a young girl, 8 years old, when I come into God's throne, and that was I was 8 years old when I had those visions from God. So it has something with that to do. And then suddenly when he cut me in two half, I be adult. I grow up in front of. It was like I look at myself. In front of me was it me, and I saw that I grow up, be taller, and then I was split in two. And I say in this, when I listen today, it was like a zipper. But it was not a real zipper, but it looked almost like a zipper. And where the zipper was it gold. So it was that the stuff was of gold, and when it cut me in half, it was left gold in. So on my left side there I have a golden edge, where the other part of my body have been, and that part disappeared, and the right side was only there. And then God told me that after that he had done that, and I be like a shape of a half butterfly, was it? And God said to me that he should use me. So that's what is on his way to do in this, that the spirits are allowed to come here and talk to you and talk to me, because I learn very much from what they are saying also. I am not done in my education under God. So so I wanted to see if there was more recording from the hypnosis 2018, and I started to listen at another hypnosis, but later on I find out that I have already talked about it here in my podcast. But it was this that it was the last time I was to Dan, because he had hard to make me come back and talk and come back to from the hypnosis, because I wanted to stay in heaven. I didn't want to go back to earth, and that scared me, so I didn't want to go in hypnosis anymore, because I was scared that he should not could take me back to earth again. But the last time was that I was like, I could do it on my own. I didn't need Dan so much. I needed Dan to take me back to earth, to be myself again. That I needed him. And but I say to Dan that it was like the garden that God gave me. I have talking about that God gave me a garden and to pick fruits of knowledge. I was allowed to do that. It was not forbidden for me. I was allowed. That's the difference from Adam and Eve. They were forbidden to eat of the fruit from the tree of life. But I was allowed to do it. God said that to me. And it was, I was in it was like I was in the garden. The garden was around me with all these fruit trees, and there come, it looked like, first it looked like the statue of Jesus that you see sometimes. The people have created those, but because it was a long hair. But I say that it could be a female also. Doesn't need to be a man. And then when it come closer and it was total white, shining, then it show up to be a bird. And the bird was very white. And I'm thinking now when I'm talking that maybe it was a symbolic for that look like a bird when Jesus was baptized, and the bird was coming from the sky, but it was not a bird, but it looked like a bird, because that was the only thing they could say it was. These people that saw it, it was shaped like a bird, but it was not a bird. It was only total white and coming. And this was also, first I saw it was like Jesus coming, and then it changed to be a bird. And then the bird was big as a human, like a adult man or woman, that size. And when the bird come to me, I got white clothes. I had white clothes on me. And then it was like we were melted together, the bird and I. And I say to the bird, bird-like. It was not a bird, but it was similar to a bird. And I say to the bird, should we only stay here? Should we only stand here? The bird didn't fly away. We were standing in in the white light. And the white light is the truth. We were standing in the truth. And then I say, I have question for you. I said to this bird shape one. And I say that about the hypnosis before, in the other, it was my second, I think, hypnosis, and I was to heaven, and then was it the Holy Spirit as a woman, and she said that I should go into heaven, and then when I come back from heaven, I say, what's in the future, I ask her. And then she said that's the other door. It was certainly two doors. So I have been in one door, and that was heaven, and I saw those people that come and met me, and they were singing, and they showed me how it looked like, the landscape in heaven. And then I walk out from there. And then in the other door, that she say that the Holy Spirit say to me that I should go in that door when I ask about the future. So that door was my future, and I went into the future. It sounds strange because the first door was heaven, and the second door was my future. But I have told you many times, in heaven there is no time, so it doesn't matter that one was heaven and the other was my future, and it doesn't need to come in that time frequency that we have here on earth. It doesn't need that in heaven, because heaven, it can be the past, the future, and today in the same time, and it can come in another order from each other. So the future can come before the past, because there is no time in heaven. There is only one day, and it's not a night, because if it's come a night, it must be light again, and that is 2 days. But it is only one day, and there is no night, only day. You are in the light a whole day, forever. And it sounds like the movie. I am not talking like that. It's serious. It's not about he's coming back. Groundhog Day. Not that kind. Oh, it sounds like that, but it is only one day. But it never repeats. It's one day. And when I come into the future, there was a man standing there, and then behind him did he have many people standing behind him in all kind of ages, women and men and all kind of age. It was not the baby, but it was maybe 8-10 years old. It looked like the youngest, and they were standing in the in the misty. It was like a gray cloud. I couldn't see details of them, but there was a long, tall man in front of them, and that man is the one that sending the spirits to me. I didn't understand what it was. I thought it was my husband to be. That was the future. I was hoping that, so I was thinking like that. But it was the spirits that is coming here now today that I saw in the future. And so that was the answer when I asked that bird style. What was it I saw? And it's this one bird style was saying that I should be, my mindset should be changed, and it have, as I didn't know in that time that the spirits should come here. They have tried to talk to me before, but I have not could talk to them like I do today. And he said that it's gonna change your mindset, and that I should be in the truth, and what I have learned earlier, that what's a matter that is important of things to know, those things that I was told that was wrong, error, that should go away from me, and I should know the truth and not what those my enemies, the spirit enemies, what they have tried to tell me, that should not be anymore. Now I should be only in the truth, and no one could change my way anymore. That's what he was saying. And then he the whole time I think he was thinking, like, he have education in psychology, so he was thinking in psychology way. So he asked, when will it happen? He asked about this mindset will be changed, and what have been wrong in the past in my life, that not what I have done but what I have heard and learned from people that they don't know that they have been a tool for the devil. They have tried to teach me wrong things and make me walk in the wrong direction, and that what is the wrong walk in a wrong direction is the mindset. It's not walking with your legs. It's about how you are thinking and what you were learn to think when you were a child. Your parents taught you what they knew from their childhood, from their parents, in generation to generation have it been error going on, and you also, many of you that listen, not all, but many of you have heard wrong things, and the devil have been happy that you think that is truth, and you walk in that way that you have learned, even if it was a wrong way to go, and you will never come to and go into the golden city. With God's grace, you will be able to come into the meadow around the golden city, and you can be there like playing like small children, and you don't know what have going on in your life before you come to heaven. That is erased from you, and but we that is inside the golden city, and we that is in the throne room, and hearing from God and get all the knowledge about everything we can. The angel told us in one episode that they can think about one place. It doesn't need to be here on Earth. It can be another planet, and only when they thinking that place, they will be there. If they want to go to a place, they only think about the place. They don't need to fly or walk, like travel with some vehicle or something. They transfer from their mindset. The mindset is the tool for everything in heaven. That's why it's so important to make your mindset be on the right track, to be in God's plan for you. It's now it was the keywords: listen and your mindset. You should know how important your mindset is. You need to clean up your mindset so you can come with us in heaven and be in those where you know everything. You know the past, and you can go into in some kind of future. You can see the future for other planets that have not been visited yet of God. You know their future, and you will not remember bad things from your past life. It's only good things you will know. Why should you have those bad memories in heaven when you should relax in heaven? So, and I say this because it's for you, because I think you have the same thing, that in the past have it been something, I see something very good will happen in my life, and then in the same time you get those good things, you see it coming, real good things in your life, and suddenly you have two more or maybe more option to choose from, and it's tricky, because I have been in the past. I have it had come in one good thing, and then the devil had placed two things of him. And the trick is that I try to figure out what is the right thing to go for, but it have always been the wrong things, and then I lost everything. I don't get the blessing. I see the blessing coming, but the blessing will never receive me. I don't receive the blessing. It's because the devil make other things coming in your way. It maybe will stand a person in front of you that make you change your mind. And my advice, if I can be wrong, but my advice is to go for the first one. First you sow the blessing coming the first time, and whatever coming around with it, or standing between you and the blessing, you should not go for those things. You should only go to what's the source of the blessing. That the spirits confirm that he is going to help you to find the truth, to find the real light. And always in those cases when it's important decision, you should always ask God to tell you what is the right thing, what is the light, what is the blessing for me, what that you have sent, the blessing you have sent, not what the devil have sent. You, God, have sent me that blessing. So help me to understand what it is. You should always have God with you in big decision. So the ice cream car track is coming outside and playing the music. So now I'm coming back to the worldly life. But it was time for me to end it here. And it was only one thing more I wanted to tell you this about titles. That titles is only here on earth. The titles is not in heaven. Titles is man-made. It's not God that have given these people their title. And that is what Jesus was, he accepted. He didn't say against the titles. When Jesus asked these people what they thought he was, and they say Rabbi and these things about him, Elisha and these things, it doesn't matter. He didn't bother him, because that was not a spirit thing. It's what the world was title him. So that you should not be impressed of what title a person have. The title is not that person. A title is not from God. A title is from the world. So thank you for listening. I hope it helped you what I have talking about today. And I was not taken up. I'm still here and want to talk to you more. Thank you, and God bless you.